and we are in Barkham with my mum, Belle Ray. She is a florist and we suspect she has ADHD. And she's here to talk about being a small business owner. She'll tell you more about that in a minute. And also we'll touch a bit on what it's like having menopause with ADHD and how that can affect it. Yeah, so we'll talk about that. So anyway, so let's start then. So tell us a bit about yourself.
My name is Belle, and as Shannon said, I am her mother, and I am the local menopausal florist and venue dresser. I've been a fresh flower florist for 20 years, and as much as I love it, I do suffer quite badly with hay fever, so it's not the best career choice. So in COVID, I made my first artificial flower arch, and that's where my business sort of propelled itself from, mainly because I was quite bored in COVID and I was like, what shall I do now? I've done the kitchen, I've done the garden, so obviously it's now something else to inject into my brain. So I made my first arch. And obviously in COVID, I had you guys with me as well. And because you all lived at home with me. And we were a family of neurodiverse people. So you just walked in and went, oh, she's doing something different, and walked back out again. And that was how we all got started, and that's a little bit about me.
So what has it been like? Obviously, I see you day to day run your business, but for you, what has it been like running your own small business?
It is the most amazing journey, apart from being a mum, that I've ever had. It's been, you have the freedom, you can choose what you want to do. The reason I chose floristry is that I love flowers. I love design, creating. I hate admin. I don't do paper. If it's got paper, apart from making hundreds of notes, I don't do it. So I was really able to sort of reach out with my design side. I'm not very good with other people. I'm not very good.
It's ironic considering you have to talk to people.
I talk amazingly to people. I don't shut up, you know. But it was just, for me, it was something that I felt quite secure in. I know deep down I do a good job, but you always doubt your abilities, and going into a workplace where you're having to conform, you have to do this way, you have to do this way, and that's not me. I might start work at 11 o'clock one day and work through till 12. That's my day for that day. I might take the next day off. So the flexibility works for me as well, because I'm not a 9-to-5 person. I can't function 9 to 5, and my brain isn't a 9 to 5 person. So I sort of, that's the main part of how I love running my business, is the unfunctionalness of it. I'll have a whip in my head one day and go, I'm going to go and do this, I'm going to go and buy this, and then that's what my focus will be for a couple of days, and I'll hyper focus on that, and branch out into different sections of the business and things like that. And it's mainly the flexibility that it works brilliantly for me.
Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier, weren't we, about your attempts at being in employment rather than self-employment.
Yeah, no.
Multiple times, but you were saying earlier about wanting to be an owner of a bike shop when you were younger. It's a very long-standing aim you've had for your own. And I think what's particularly interesting is the fact that you always keep going back to a shop.
Yeah,
you said quite a lot of times about having a flower shop. You said earlier about a bike shop. What's the particular appeal?
I don't know. Everyone has that romantic storybook dream, and I think being potentially, not that I knew at the time, neurodiverse, I couldn't think outside what I knew was the norm. So my mum and dad had a bike shop, so to me that was what you did. That was the normal thing. They were in the bike industry. They've always been in the bike industry. So to me, being self-employed and owning a shop was what you did. I didn't think about anything else that I could do. I always loved the idea of being self-employed, and it's a pride thing. I'm not the smartest cookie in the world, you know. I'll eat a cookie.
Well, I wouldn't go with that. You are pretty smart.
I'm not educationally smart then. I'm probably more, I don't know what creative smart, and along that, the words escape me, the menopause has hit.
Well, creative.
Yeah.
And this is all you.
Yeah. And I've lost my way. And and I think, so doing something where I have to think wasn't really going to be everything that I would ever do. And I think, the whole me just working in a shop, working on my own. I'd have had a dog if I could, you know, cat maybe in the shop as well. But that would have been my dream, and I think it's what I always thought I would do.
Well, a bit further down the line, you probably will have the dog and the
totally
cat in your shop. It would just be a different shop.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. I think they also, at the moment, for me, I've sort of, you adapt when you're in business. You have to adapt. You have to create, and you have to drive yourself forward, and you have to become different to your other. Again, what's the word? That menopause word? No, you have to be different to your competition.
There you go.
Yeah. And I think for me, having that shop, as much as it's a dream, potentially is not the reality now, because my focus of driving the business in a different way is to make bigger, make more, make better, and branch out into things that a shop probably wouldn't be able to absorb.
Well, I think the competition element, something you're really good at, is branching away from competition. I mean, you started off being a wedding florist, and now you've gone into, what are you, events,
bit of everything,
funerals, still at weddings, all of that. You've really branched out. What made you go into all of these different ones? I mean, for a start, bike shop and flowers, it's very different.
Opposite, isn't it?
How did you, aside from the practical need for flowers, what made the flowers appeal to you?
I love flowers, and you get to the point where you can only have a certain amount of flowers in your house. And for me, it was like, oh, Mum's doing flowers again. And it was very much like, you'd walk in, oh, she's doing flowers. We've got another flower display on the table. We've got this. And at some point, you've got to go, hold on a moment. I could make money out of this as well. And as much as I love the bike stuff, and actually looking at it now, the industry is waning because of the internet. So the bike shops are closing. So I actually made quite a bold move by not going into what I know, what wasn't my family. But yeah, the drive for flowers was basically, I loved anything to do, gardening, anything to do with flowers. It was an absolute passion, and potentially a hyperfixation of mine.
Very long,
very long-winded one.
I think obsession, using the neurodiverse terminology, I think obsession is probably the long-term one, isn't it?
Massively long-term. But if you think about our house, every windowsill, every room has flowers in it. I mean, how much
on the door?
Yeah, wreath on the oven. You know, how much
changes
flowers
every season as well.
Yeah, I mean, our Christmas trees, we've got 7 Christmas trees, which is where the design comes in. I mean, I don't know a house that has 7 Christmas trees in their house at Christmas time. And I think that's where you know, and that's probably my next call is, there's only a certain amount you can do to a detached 3-bed detached house. You've only got a certain amount of rooms. So my next call will probably be Christmas. And that's how I've sort of developed everything. And then the addiction and the hyperfixation, you make one big arch and you think, well, I want to make a bigger one. I want to make a bigger one. And then before you know it, you've got a humongous range. And I think that also is a part of it. It's like, how big can I make my flower display look? And
also styles. You go through a lot of different styles. I think you went through, you started off with rustic, then you went to luxury, and I've lost track now.
Colours.
I think that leads us on quite nicely to the ADHD part of it. So ADHD, the whole idea of what we like to call shiny. I'm just going to censor myself so I don't start swearing now. So the shiny stuff. So how has ADHD impacted your business and being an entrepreneur, I suppose you could even say? I
would call myself that, yes. I think with the ADHD, I mean, the drive and the hyper-focus is humongous. How many hours do I work a day, 7 days a week? I'll start at 8 in the morning and probably work through to 11.
You definitely at least come home probably 7.
Yeah, and I think
the earliest.
It's a permanent. When I think also some of it is really difficult to understand what's ADHD and what's self-employment, because when you're self-employed, you're dependent on you. Your income, your house, your mortgage, everything is dependent on you. So you drive yourself more so because you have to pay your own bills. There's not someone to go, oh, well, here you go, here's £1,000 for your mortgage or whatever it happens to be. So it's very difficult to understand what sides is ADHD and what sides is self-employment. But my hyper focus is definitely one thing that I would say is a benefit for me driving my business, because I'm always thinking about the next thing that I can make. How can I improve? What can I do? I have about 50 ideas in my head at any one time.
That's not even an exaggeration. That genuinely is happening right now.
Yeah, and I have business plans for loads of different ideas. I'm already thinking about the next sort of venture. I'm permanently looking at Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook. What's the next trend? So you're always on top of it. And I think having ADHD probably is a benefit, because I'm totally all over that. I'm ruling that. And I think, that definitely for me is good. And I'm always on Facebook. I look at what other people are selling, what companies shutting down, I'll buy that. And now we've got lawn games, and we've got a van because we've now got lawn games. It was just an evolvement of my business.
Well, the van you bought because you had lawn games that you couldn't get home by your car.
No,
you bought a van because you needed it for lawn games.
Basically, so we're a proud owner of a van, and I'm totally all over van life now. But and I think because you sort of because you think out of the box. You think, okay, so I've got an arch. What is going to make that arch a bit more money? Well, I'll add this to it, and I'll add that to it. And I think that's where the hyperfixation and the sort of constantly thinking with the ADHD, you don't turn off. You're permanently thinking, I'll sit in bed and write a business plan, or write a website out and things like that. And I think that they're not clicking off. As exhausting and the burnout can be sometimes, is definitely what helps me run a business.
Well, you're constantly on it, not the burnout.
Not the burnout side. You know, that's a day cleaning the house, and then I'm much better again. I think that's also another part of it, though, is an issue that I think needs to be addressed in some respects, is that I get so hyper focused with work. Work is my vision. It's my only thought. So therefore, like, the housework doesn't get done. I can't multitask. I should have been a bloke. I can't multitask. I
say that a lot about me as well.
I can't multitask. So it's like I'll work and work and work, and then I'll come in and think, oh, the house needs a bit of a clean. It's when did I do it last, and things like that. And I think for me, realizing that side of it as well, admin I don't do. It's the most boring thing in the world. I don't understand why we have admin. Why can't we just go, I'll hire that arch off of you? I'll go, yeah, okay, cool, see you in a week. That to me is admin.
Why do you need to send out invoices?
Exactly.
You've already agreed that.
Self-man shake, isn't it? But so I think for me, recognizing my difficulties, and I don't like calling them difficulties. Everything is a quirk. Whether you're neurodiverse or not, you have a quirk, you have a speciality and something like that. And I think for me, understanding what I can't do and recognizing what I can't do within my ADHD or my suspected ADHD was also something that was really quite big for me. And I think actually recognizing what you can't do is actually achieving what you can do, because you're going, right, I can't do this, so I'll spend more time doing that and I get someone to help me do this. And I think actually that's probably quite a good thing, to be able to recognize what you can't do.
I was gonna say the way you talk about it, it's kind of almost like a bit of a personal journey as well, not just your business, but figuring out more stuff about yourself, isn't there?
Actually,
knowing what your limits are. I think you probably learned that the long way around.
Definitely
learning that.
And I think that also contributes to the burnout, because you're trying to do stuff that actually you're never going to be able to do for love nor money, you know. And I think that's, for me, like I've taken on Georgia, Shannon's sister, to take over my admin, to take over anything that is anything not to do with that side of the flowers, because I know I can't do it. And the realization, and I suppose also it's not the shame, because it's not a shameful thing, but for me it was like, I have to achieve everything, because I always felt an underachiever as a child. And to me, having to overachieve as an adult to prove that I can do all these things was actually, it was quite stupid and quite naive in some respects. But having that realization that, do you know what, you can't be good at everything, is quite a strong realization. I think it's quite powerful as well, and it definitely helped me, because I know I can't do admin, and we all know that. I can't even tax my car online. I'm that bad. And I think recognizing your weaknesses as well as it is actually a strength. Definitely a strength.
I think that's an important thing for most people to acknowledge now, actually. It's the there's such a big focus on everyone trying to be able to do everything. You go on LinkedIn and you've got all of these achievements and stuff people trying to do, trying to make themselves really versatile, flexible and stuff. And for you being able to know your limits, what you need help on, and seeing you, I've noticed that it's taken you a while to learn to actually ask for help. What have you been 5 years now for your business, and you've only just taken on Georgia? I feel like that's something you've achieved as well, being able to actually get other people to help.
I think that's definitely a strength. I would say it's definitely a strength. But also I think, you know, and I used to say this about you, because when you used to say to me, with your autism, why can't I do these things? And I go, would you expect a man with no legs to be able to walk? And actually, no, you wouldn't. So why would you expect yourself to be able to do things that your brain can't do? And I think I had to apply my logic to you, to me as well, and actually realised, you know what, mother like daughter, we're not that different, are we? Apart from hair colour.
There's a reason for that, I'd say.
It's strange, isn't it? But yeah, I've lost my train of thought again, this menopause. But yeah, I think that it is quite a strong thing, and I think it is such a positive thing to realise what you can't do. It's just as important to realise what you can do.
So obviously this is a bit of a family business now as well. How have you sort of brought it into family? You've gone from being self-employed, just working for yourself. You can call yourself a small business now because you actually have people employed.
I am a small business. I'm a limited company.
You're a limited company. It is on paper. Look it up online, you'll find it.
Company house.
So was it like bringing in family as well? And I'm saying family because usually it's George and brother Nate.
I tell you what, it is the best thing to be able to work with someone you love, and to be able to see my kids daily, for me, is just the biggest gift. And to be, Georgia and I have such a laugh all the time, and I 100% trust her. I know she's not going to do anything that I don't agree with.
She made you in half the time.
Exactly. It's the other way around. She's like, Mum, you're not buying this. We don't need this for the business. But I think for me, we've always had a very close family unit, because it's just been me and the kids. And I think that's brought us closer. Well, we've always said that's brought us quite close together. And I think to be able to work, and even just for little things like you being able to come down here and do your work here, it's just, that's and that's just absolutely priceless. And I think also moving forward, you know, we are a family of neurodiverse people, all four of us are, and I wanted to be able to take away the insecurity that I had as a child or a grown-up person going into a job that I never really felt was right. I never felt that I was capable of it, and I want to take that away for you guys, and I want you to have something that's guaranteed, that if you come in hard times, or you can't cope with a job, or you're unemployed for whatever reason, there's something here for you. And that drives me quite a lot as well. And also obviously moving forward, when I retire, if you know, I can't see that happening.
I think there's more of an if, because
that's not going to happen.
Well, we already saw in COVID, you create a business because you got bored. If you retired from your business, you just set up another one.
I'd just drive you not mad. Like, come on, let's do something. But yeah, and again, it's an income for me. On a selfish note, it's a guaranteed income for me on my retirement, and something that will carry on and on and on. And then hopefully, again, it's a security for you guys, because we live in a neurotypical world that's never going to adapt to neurodiversity, and we have to adapt. And if we can make that adaptation easier for us, then I think it would make our lives and the mental health of us a lot easier. That's the other thing. I think mental health is a massive thing, isn't it?
Well, it's definitely helped with Nate, I think, with his OCD, isn't it?
Definitely.
Before I start going into personal stories that anyone watching doesn't really understand, something that we touch up on a fair amount is this whole idea of you feeling like you have imposter syndrome.
Massively,
And I think people going in, becoming self-employed, creating their own small business, very likely, most people will have that. So for people watching who are looking at creating their own small business or being self-employed, how have you dealt with that?
I've made sure I'm the best.
Well, you can see that.
I look at whatever. I'm always on people's websites. I'm always on people's Facebook pages. if I know I'm going to a wedding fair and there's another florist there, I'll see what style of work she does. And I think also this is the reason I started making the bigger things, and especially with artificial flowers, because you can make something massive. You don't have to charge so much of it because it goes out on hire every week, so you get your money back quicker. But so I found actually making the really big things helped my imposter syndrome, because the wow factor's there. If you have a little jug of flowers, you're like, oh, that's very pretty, but they could do it better. Whereas with the arches, the pillars, all the big things that I have, it's sort of like, wow. When you walk in, it's wow. And to me, that's helped my imposter syndrome quite a lot. I think the imposter syndrome has probably been put on by my ADHD insecurities. Not feeling that I ever fitted in with some places, not feeling that I have a group of friends. I mean, I'm a really social person. I've got more friends than I've got hands or fingers, but you never feel that you fit into a group. You always feel like you're sort of not quite on the outside, but not quite on the inside. And it's a really, you don't feel lonely, but you don't feel right. And I think doing this takes away that from a business side, because I think people have a certain opinion of you and an expectation with you in business. And I think when you can wow it, that takes that expectation to the next level, which takes the imposter syndrome away. So I think that's how come I've sort of overcome it in that respect, by making myself bigger and bigger and bigger, to become a larger business or a medium business.
I suppose as well, you got your wedding fairs, you're making what I'm getting at is your networking, basically, with different venues and that. You meet people that are like you as well, and also there for a purpose. Going on to networking, how do you find, talking to people? I know what I'm trying to get as the conversation we had with Georgia the other day.
I don't shut up. I do not shut up.
It's an ADHD thing here.
I don't have a cut-off point. I will talk and talk and talk. I find out their life history. We talk about everything, the moon, the stars and the sun, what their favourite. I talk about cake mainly. That's my go-to. It's just the best thing ever. Krispy Kreme donuts are the best. Tea, I'm on decaf now though, to try and sort of, exactly that. But that is exactly the problem. And I think it works in my favour, because I'll rattle on to anybody and anything about anything, unless I feel tired, and then I won't. But I find with the ADHD, sort of, you don't shut up, and I think that's probably a good thing, because you become a more personable person, a more approachable person, a friendly person, and not a scary person. So I think that definitely benefits the benefits in business. I would definitely. And you smile a lot. I don't know if that's an ADHD thing, but I smile all the time.
Okay, so I think a big thing with you, obviously, is relevance. You talk quite a lot, and like you just said, already gone off the subject onto cake, because of how much you like cake.
Cake is good.
How do you ensure that when you're talking to your brides and the grooms, that you stay on topic, stay with the relevant stuff?
I think it's really easy, and I do find it's easy to run away with it. So my strategy now is I do the talk about, how's your wedding plans going? And we touch a bit on the wedding plans, and then we touch a bit on colour schemes, and then I'll diverse off a little bit and go, X, Y, and Z. Do you know, have you seen this? This is amazing. Isn't the weather great? Just the general chit chat, which do you go off of? And then I go back to the wedding. So I sort of wedding chat. So then what I'm doing is chunking into small sections, so I know I can't go too far over the side. I mean, the other day I did have a bride. We had a total discussion on cats. I showed her the picture of all of our cats and all that sort of stuff.
But that being the important word there, all cats,
menopause. Because all of on the website, everything, all the arches and stuff are named after the pets. So it makes us sound like a farm. We're not, but it's not a small holding yet. We're going to get the donkey soon.
We're close to it.
But not quite yet. And then that's how we then got onto the subject of pets and stuff. And I have to consciously think, right, I need to reel it back to weddings, more so because on a business side of it, the longer you're with a client, say you're with a client for 2 hours, that's £150. If you're with a client for an hour, that's £100. And you have to look at it, and I have to keep putting that business part back into my head, I've also got Georgia. If I run off, she'll tap me, a bit like you do that. She'll tap me on the leg, and then I know that I've run off too far. But it's more so when I run off too far, it's when I had a father who has the identical ADHD traits as I have, and we were like, oh my god, you do that, oh my god, you do that, oh my god, you do that, that's amazing, oh my god, we've got to talk about this sort of thing. We were both running away with it all, but it was so lovely to talk to somebody that had exactly the same traits as I did, and that's how you run it. And that's when I got the come on mum, we've got a wedding to plan sort of thing.
She said in that case she saw the bride herself getting
yeah, exactly that.
I think that's a justified plan.
So I have a strategy of how I conduct, like you call it an interview, but it's not, it's just a chat about their wedding and stuff. But so that's what I do. I try and chunk it into different sections, and then you can always revert back to the wedding side of it. So that's how I've worked out the best way of doing it, because you can run straight over, and I mean I'm chatty, I'll talk about anything to anybody, and and I find it's really difficult if I have a bride that's got an ADHD autism diagnosis, because she's just like me, and we'll be there for 3 hours, and it's sort of you sort of see the groom going, oh, here we go. There's 2 of them now. And facial recognition, obviously with an autistic like yourself, the facial recognition you don't always understand, but with me I understand facial. I can sort of see when someone's clicking off, and I think, right, I'll give it a couple more minutes and then I'll pull it back. So that helps. Definitely.
I suppose the other side of looking at it though is sometimes you do need to veer off slightly into that chat, like you're saying, because you're not just there to create a list of things to make. You're wanting to make a rapport with them already, and you and again, it's the repeat business, isn't it? You've had brides where you've done their wedding flowers, and a couple of years later they come back to you saying, oh well, we've got baby shower, or can you do malarkey, like this event and stuff. So that rapport, it helps you too as well, doesn't it?
Definitely. And I think also when you're planning a wedding, and on your first wedding, you don't know what happens. You don't know the structure of how the wedding works, the day works. And I just sort of think if I can be as friendly as possible to them, and as approachable as possible, maybe too approachable, but approachable to them, then it takes that barrier away of fear. Can I ask this stupid question? I had a bride, bless her, last night, and she was asking me about confetti. No, I'm not going to sell her the confetti, but I'll help her with it. But it's nice that she was able to come to me and go, what do I do about this? And I think it's because I'll chat online to them and things like that. It's not just face to face. I'll have a little conversation with them online. How you doing? All that sort of stuff. Have you had a good weekend? And just stuff like that. And I'll check in with brides if I know they're quite stressed and things like that. Because it's almost like for the run up of their wedding, you become their best friend. The day after wedding, so we'll call that wedding Boxing Day. They don't know you anymore. It's not that they don't need to know you anymore, but that friendship sort of stops. And I found
when you know that it's they're a client rather than
but to me, they needed me up to this point, and I was there for them up to this point. And I always say to them, I'm always at the end of the phone. I give them my mobile number, and it's a personal number, because I don't do this whole business personal, because I can't click off. There's no point in me having a business phone. So you become their friend, and I think that changes the dynamic of it being customer, because you become customer friend opposed to friend or customer, which definitely helps.
Acquaintance would come in.
Acquaintance would be a good description. It's like the work colleague. Once you go home, you don't talk to them again, sort of thing, and that's it. And I did struggle with that, because you do become really friendly with your brides and stuff, and I found that really difficult. The minute that they've had their wedding, we don't have that communication anymore, and that I found really difficult to start with. But I've learned that that's just part and parcel of the industry and how we set up, sort of thing.
That's quite a big thing for you to learn as well, because I think sometimes with you have a little bit of rejection sensitivity.
Massive,
There you go, massive rejection sensitivity. I was going to try and avoid a massive, but
you just live it.
I think for you to learn that that's just part of being a client, that's a really big step for you as well.
I think so, definitely, because I always have this opinion that, I don't know, it's a really strange that people don't like me, that I have this opinion that sometimes people are angry with me, and I can never work out why I have that opinion, why I feel that, and I find that very hard to gauge. I find it very hard to gauge sometimes on text when someone says, and I think, is that an off text or not? And I find
know where I get that from.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, that's quite difficult to negate, and that to me builds that confidence as well. And like you say, the realization that suddenly they stop talking to you isn't because they don't like you anymore or anything like that. It's because our paths are just going to go a different way now, sort of thing. And you meet people for a reason, and then they go off for a reason, and that's the heart. If you look at it philosophically, we've met for a reason, and then we're just going to go our separate ways, and that's how I look at it now.
Makes sense, that philosophy.
It's the only philosophy I've got.
Not your only one, but that's a big one. Cool. Anyway, so just moving on a bit to menopause then, because this is something that you said that you wanted to bring up, and that you feel people need to talk about. I know I'm saying this for you, but
no, you crack on. Saves me doing it.
One thing that I've noticed, obviously I've lived with you for almost 26 years, and one thing that I've noticed is that the traits that made us say, well, we think you might be ADHD, is so you changed to, you think you might be ADHD, into now, well, doing an interview because you definitely got ADHD.
I mean, even my mum and dad, who were very much, no, nothing wrong with you.
Now saying that as well. So basically, the long way round of asking, how has menopause? How do you think menopause has impacted ADHD?
I think it heightens it, definitely. It's brought it to surface, and I don't know whether that's because obviously when you're menopausal, your hormones are all over the show, which then affects your mental health, which then affects the knock-on effect to everything. And I think obviously mental health with feeling down and stuff like that is a part of also ADHD. It's part of the whole neurodiversity, and I don't know whether it's something along those lines, but I did find that, again, like with your hot flashes comes your hyperactivity. You can't click off because you can't sleep at night and things like that. And I think that definitely heightens menopause, definitely heightened it for me, to the point where I recognised it. Where beforehand I'd be like, whatever, I'll just say it to shush you up a bit, not in a horrible way, but do you know what I mean? But for me, I actually recognised, and I think it was only in the last year or two that I thought, oh my gosh, I can't do these things. I can't cope with having with the overload. So if I had more than 2 appointments to see brides in a day, I couldn't cope with it. And that to me really showed where my menopause came out, where beforehand I'd see 15 brides a day. It wouldn't faze me at all because you just write it down, but I just couldn't juggle all of that. And I think that's, so the mental health side, the stress side that menopause brings heightened and showed up the ADHD side, and maybe the underlying, because we always knew I was hyperactive. I don't sit down and watch telly. We know I don't stop. But,
you don't usually know what's going on on TV, let
alone exactly. Well, I don't even know how to use the telly.
It's not on the same either.
No, I have to text you. I've sort of nearly worked it out. But for me, it was the mental health side of ADHD that really heightened in menopause, that I struggled with, which I've never struggled with before. And I think the hyperactivity, that's just part and parcel of me. But it was the mental health side that I thought, oh gosh, this is a struggle now. And I think that's maybe more what the menopause has impacted rather than the other side of it. It's the emotional side of it which has been brought out sort of ADHD wise.
Just out of interest, I was thinking whilst you're saying about the people, obviously the other day you've got a weekend in August, a bank holiday, where you've got 3 weddings in one day.
It's going to be amazing.
Even George was worried about that.
40 tables.
But then, like you were saying, that you find having more than 3 brides in a day difficult. So do you think it's a case of, is it people, or is it a case of just being overwhelmed with lots of stuff?
I think it's been overwhelmed with lots of stuff because I'm already putting in strategies. So I've got that particular weekend, I've got 40 tables going out in one day. And then I've got another wedding with other bits going out. But I know, because the benefit of this sort of stock is that I can make it 2 months in advance. So once they definitely come in, I can plan and make those weddings, especially having storage now. It helps because I've got somewhere to put the stuff. So
you're kind of bursting out your storage.
I'm bursting out of it, yeah. I mean, we've got crates outside now. But yeah, I think that trying to plan, and also because I now don't have to do any admin, I can completely focus on the logistics, the ordering and all that side of it. And actually the bit that I know I'm quite good at and I like, spending money, I can do all of that, and it takes away that pressure. So planning it in advance, I think it would be fine. I think it's the day, I think it would be a bit of a nightmare. I think I'm going to be stressed and all of that side of it. I'm going to need a lot of cake.
No, you think
I will be, yeah. But I think anyone...
Cake always helps.
Yeah, it does help, yeah. But I think even someone who doesn't have any neurodiversity would find that quite stressful.
Yeah,
3 weddings, and one of them being in Essex is a massive, 2 around here, 1 in Essex. The travelling and the logistics of it, I think, would be stressful for anybody. But I think, it's trying to work out the strategies, which I know I need to do it in advance. So actually that week will be quite a calm week.
Yeah.
So I think that's the way forward.
And you're getting other people in and helping. I think it's going to be like 5, at least 5
It's going to be quite a lot of us. It's going to be about 2 vans and a car.
Yeah. Well, you already said yourself that you might have to hire another van.
Yeah, we're going to have to hire another van if this comes off. Yeah. On the flip side of it, I know we're sort of going off track, but it's not. To me, for someone who has had the insecurity growing up, who has had the imposter syndrome because they don't really understand what's going on around them, it's a massive achievement to be able to go, do you know what, I've got 3 weddings on one day, I've made it to that point. And I think that's a massive positive to show that actually, do you know what, it's blooming hard work, but you can do it. And it doesn't mean okay, I don't look at myself as having a disability. I'm Belle, and this is what you see. I don't look at myself as having a disability, but look at what I've achieved and look at how I've done it. And I think, so anybody out there who thinks, oh my gosh, I've got all these traits and stuff, my life is over. It's not. Your life is just beginning, and you bit of blood and guts and you can flip and do it. And I think, to me, that's proof that I can do these things, and it sort of pushes you on a bit and gives you a bit more confidence, and then takes away that imposter syndrome as well.
As you're saying that, the thing that came to mind was obviously you were here for DIA, disability equals ability. That name, that is literally it. Your ADHD is actually a facilitator. It's giving you the ability.
Definitely. But then I always said that to you, like with your autism, it doesn't mean you can't do something. You just have to look at how you're going to do it differently. And your brain still works, it just works a different way, and you can still achieve. I'm not saying everyone can achieve massive things, different disabilities have different issues, but there should not, in this day and age, there should not be anything to stop anybody achieving the most best life and the most best out of themselves. And I think it is you just got to fight for it, but you have to fight a bit more for it because you have to think differently. And I think that's all it is.
There's one thing you are, it's definitely a fighter.
We
can't say no to that.
No.
But, what's the next thing that you got? What's your next step? What's the next thing you're doing?
What's the next thing I'm doing? I am going to take over the world.
That you definitely will do. So what you going to do first when you're taking over the world?
Well, obviously I'll put the kettle on first and work out how I'm going to take over the world. Tea and cake, totally. Decaf though. Decaf. One thing actually I have found, diversing a little bit, because that was me, I've gone on to decaf, and I sleep so much better now, so just bear that in mind, right? Just anyone that needs a little bit of non-brain vision going on at night, decaf's amazing.
Essential message, that's now going to be one of them that wasn't anticipated. That's now one of them.
I used to, if I wake up at night, I do a cup of tea to get me back to sleep, and now I don't wake up at night. No, I think, well, I've already, and again, working at 400 miles an hour, because I don't work at anything less, I sort of have a second business on its way, which is a mirror of this business, but it's long game. So this business is big events, stuff like that. I wanted to get into party games, and now we've got the storage we can. So I'm already developing, I'd already bought the stock, started the website within a week of planning this business. So my next step is this lawn game business with children's parties. Not that I'm very keen on children. Some of them are all right. Do you know what I mean?
You don't actually have to be.
I don't have to stay there. No. Yeah, exactly. I plonk it and go. But yeah, that's my next thing. Because I want to create. I have one of the sayings is don't put all your eggs in one basket. So, and with self-employment, you have to think of loads of different avenues of income. And so the next avenue of income is going to be sort of children's parties, baby showers and stuff like that. So we're we're making another company to sort of to blend in with this company as an event. That's my next goal. And then I haven't thought about the next one, but there is ideas.
Just to name drop the company, Blossom and Fig.
Blossom and Fig, yeah. .co.uk, yeah. For all your children party needs.
Yeah. No, this is definitely going to be a good one. It's very.
I'm really excited about it. Yeah, we have to play with all the toys before they come and go out. Product testing. Yeah. I've got the Connect 4 turning up on Wednesday. That would be amazing balls. Yeah. So hyper
focus. I've now heard that 4 times.
Yeah. It's a big word.
Yeah. That's brilliant. So, unless you've got anything else to add?
I don't know. I think my only thing that I would say is don't be afraid of giving it a go. I think if you don't try, you'll never know. I think if you sit back and go, I don't know, I can't do this, you're never going to make. Not that you're never going to make anything of yourself, but you're never going to give yourself the opportunity to do something. And you will crash and burn, and you will make mistakes, and you will work out what your strengths and weaknesses are. And I think one of the big things is once you've worked out your weaknesses, don't be ashamed of them. Go, own your weaknesses. Go, do you know what? By owning it, it makes it a positive. And I think, I my whole thing was do not say no. Just go for it. And just you only get one life.
Don't listen to the people that are saying no as well.
Yeah, definitely.
The naysayers, as most people would say.
Yeah. But like the whole charity basis is, don't make your disability, turn your disability into an ability.
Disability.
And turn it into an ability, because just because you're labelled or you have these traits and things like that doesn't mean that you're lesser of a person, and it doesn't mean that you can't do what a neurotypical person does.
Own the label.
Own it. Totally own it. Definitely. Yeah, with tea and cake.
Before I sign off, I know she won't want to come out, but I just want to give credit to my sister Georgia. She's in the other room, which is why I'm pointing towards a wall. And she's done an amazing job of working with you. I'm not going to ask her to come out because I think she said that she didn't want to join the interview, but just credit. She's done an amazing job.
Oh, the door is opening now.
Oh, no, she's coming. Here we go. It's Georgia behind the wall. Hello. Well done. Congratulations.
Well done.
And anyway, so that is it. Thank you for joining us.
That's all right. No, thank you for joining me.
With my mum.
I know, it's weird.
If you enjoyed the story, make sure you like and definitely subscribe, support us. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed it.